Congress will most likely agree to a short-term spending bill to get the government funded through spring as lawmakers face a December 20th deadline. No one in this lame duck session of Congress wants to spend Christmas on Capitol Hill, but we'll see what happens here. Joining us this morning to discuss is Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold. Good morning to you, sir. No one wants to be here on Capitol Hill for Christmas, especially lawmakers. But where the spending ends is where the new Trump administration begins, and they have to start working together right now. You say the number one way to control crushing inflation is to rein in all that government spending, starting with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, though, which will expire in 2025. How important is it to extend this for the American people?
Yeah, it's critically important right now because Americans are facing a huge tax increase. Taxes could go up by trillions of dollars at the end of 2025 if this new Congress and President Trump can't agree on a tax package. I think they will, but it's an enormous task because not only do they have to make sure American families and businesses aren't facing huge tax increases, they need to keep the economy going, improve our economic outlook, while tackling the fact that we have $34 trillion in debt. Yeah. We need to be fiscally responsible, too. So it's going to be a tough needle to thread, but hopefully they can get it done.
Well, he has the new DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, of course, hoping to get rid of some of that government waste, which I've already heard a lot of what they've found. What kind of things are they seeing right now in our federal government, the waste of taxpayer dollars?
Yeah, I mean, they're just scratching the surface here. There are billions and billions of dollars of waste in the federal government. We all know that. It got way worse during COVID when we were spending millions of dollars to study cats in Russia. We were spending millions of dollars to promote Egyptian tourism, encourage people to go to Egypt. That may be great, but we shouldn't be spending federal tax dollars on it. So there are billions of dollars of waste in there. And I'm really excited to see what they can do because obviously they have a huge platform. We've been talking about waste and inefficiency for years, but they have this enormous platform to make sure Congress sees it, and more importantly, to make sure the American public recognizes how bad things are and hopefully provide some incentive to get things done.
This report, I'm sure, would tick off a lot of Americans if they saw it. I mean, I saw one thing here, $200 million to support closed music venues during the pandemic. Senator Rand Paul had a waste report that was very eye-opening for, I think there was even something about yoga and goats and studying that. There's millions of dollars being spent that a lot of taxpayers don't even know about. The Musk Commission, as it's being called, is similar to, as you say, the Grace Commission of 1982. So what was that commission and how did it transform economic reforms here in America?
Yeah, I mean, the Grace Commission did a wonderful job in 1982 of uncovering waste. They identified more than $400 billion in wasteful spending. And in today's terms, that would be more than $1.5 trillion. The problem is, and what makes me concerned here, is that just identifying the waste isn't enough. We need to have a platform like I think the DOGE committee could potentially have, and we need to have a Congress willing to implement these reforms because most of the Grace Commission's reforms were never implemented, so we didn't achieve those spendings. We need to follow through on what this commission identifies and make sure we're eliminating that waste, not just shining a light.
And talking to lawmakers, as you say, right now, before they reconvene after the recess, before they reconvene in January after the inauguration. And finally, you say we need to extend budget caps from the Fiscal Responsibility Act. How much did that save taxpayers?
Yeah, it saved about $1.5 trillion. So that's a huge amount of money. There's still a lot of work to be done, but this was the deal that was passed during the debt ceiling negotiations. We're going to have another debt crisis coming up next year. We need to lock in really, really tough caps. Congress is good at wriggling out of these caps, but they still often save considerable amounts of money. We need to make sure we're holding Congress accountable and making sure that they're as fiscally responsible as they can be.
Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jim.